Okay, hello again. I hope you have had a good lunch. This afternoon we have two sessions. Both of them are related to fixed and mobile services. In the first session we will focus on the fixed service, and then the second session we will have few exercises related to the LAN mobile service. Okay, as it was mentioned the other day by colleagues, okay, fixed service is one service, but when we talk about mobile service, it may then be divided to different subcategories like land mobile, maritime mobile, aeronautical mobile, and again, aeronautical mobile has two different services, route or off-route. Then, in addition to these two categories, we also have radio determination, radio location, radio navigation. So these are all the main services that are categorized under fixed and mobile. Here we are talking about these four notice types. So T11 is for the fixed, is a transmitting station in the fixed service. T12 is the transmitting station in, okay, when we say terrestrial transmitting station, it can be a base station in land mobile service, it can be a station in the aeronautical mobile service, maritime mobile service, and all those which are mentioned in the right side of this table. Then we have T13, which is the receiving land station. It can be a handheld mobile station in any of the mobile services, and so on. At the end, we have T14, which is a special type of notice for a typical station. Later, we will explain what is the difference between a typical station and a transmitting station. Okay, this part is already explained. You are already familiar with terror notices, e-validation, and so on. And to create a notice type, you have already seen that there are so many different data items, reference documents, regulatory documents, which are behind a simple frequency notice. Okay, notice structure. Here we have already seen these images that we have administrative and technical information of the transmitting site. Then we have antenna characteristic of the transmitting station. Then we have the location of the receiving station. We didn't have the receiving station when we talked about broadcasting service. This is only applicable to T11, T12, T14, in which we notify a transmitting station. Then we have a specific notice, which is T13. Again, we have administrative technical, we have antenna section, but then here we have the location of the linked transmitting station. For fixed and mobile stations, the identifying elements are a bit longer. The list is longer. So we have assigned frequency, we have geographical coordinates, but at the same time, we have the class of station, also required bandwidth code, emission class, and hours of operation. Either we have to give this long list, or we just give the code if that exists, the code given by the administration, which is mentioned at the bottom of the screen. Again, you see the important note which is below. It is just to remind all of us that the station name, site name is not an identifying element. So we always have to work on these items which are mentioned here. Okay, now we have a rather complex example to start with. And this is done on purpose because usually after lunch we need a force to bring us, keep us awake. So that is why we have a very complicated example to start with. It's a point-to-point link in the shared bands, in the bands which are shared with the space services. So as you see, this exercise is like 2 pages. So we will have a lot of parameters to enter, to calculate, to go and find the reference, and to understand the network. So here, the example that we have is on that frequency, at 8 gigahertz frequency. And this is in fact referring to 2 links. So we will see in the second page that we have 2 antennas. So we will have 1 station, we will have 2 antennas which are linked. So, and then we will create the notice, and then we will see how it looks like. So in order to prepare this notice, we will start with new file functionality, and we will explore other functionalities like duplicating antennas and things like that. So let's go back to our Terra notices. I have to stop that presentation first, and then we go back to. Okay. Now, yeah, I think it's more visible. I don't need this anymore. So we start with a new notice. New notice, okay, the country here for this example is Argentina. So we make sure that we have the correct country name here. Then we are under FXM notices, and then it is a fixed link. So fixed service is the first one. So we choose T11. So here is T11 that we have, but it is empty. The only thing is the country name which is there. Now we have this table here. I will make it a little bit bigger. Let me just close this one. And make it a little bit. Okay. So again, here we have a unique identification code given. It is optional. You can give it or not because it's an add notice. This is not really necessary. But if we provide such a code, this code can be used later as an identifying element. In this example, it is optional, but it is always recommended to have such a code for future to facilitate the modification, suppression procedure, and so on. Okay, so we leave it blank for the moment. Fragment is into FDRR, means that it is article 11, so it's already filled there. Then here it says, okay, action add is there. Frequency is 8 gigahertz, 8.26 gigahertz. So it is 8.26, and make sure the unit is correctly set to gigahertz. So by putting this frequency, we are now entering a shared band. So now there are special conditions which apply on these notices. Here, then we have to put the necessary bandwidth code, necessary bandwidth, here. Now we have to do a special exercise. For broadcasting, the bandwidth was a number in kilohertz. So the value in kilohertz. Here is the bandwidth code. For bandwidth code, I have to go to preface. Just want to show you how we can find that code. This is, I have to go to section 14. Let me see. It's here. This is section 14. It is taken from Appendix 1 to the radio regulation. So, in order to mention the necessary bandwidth, there is a formula. We should create a 4-letter text containing 3 digits and 1 letter, which is either K for kilohertz, or M for megahertz, G for gigahertz. So we go to this part. You see the footnote of the first page here? These are the examples. That, for example, if we have this value in hertz, then this is the bandwidth code is constructed like this. If we have, for example, 2.4 kilohertz, it should be like this. So the easy formula is that the letter will always replace the decimal point. Wherever the decimal point is, we just take the point and then we put the letter which corresponds to the unit of the bandwidth. Saying so, if the bandwidth is 28 megahertz, then it is 28 M, and then we have to add 0 because we have to have 4 letters. So that is how we have created 28M0. So here we put 28M0, which means the bandwidth of 28 megahertz. Then we have to go to class of emission. This is D7W. Then we have date of bringing to use. Again, okay, I have to make sure I don't put 2029. Okay. Let's skip this. Then class of station is FX. That is the only choice that we have because we are in T11. In T11, there is no other choice available. Then we have nature of service. Okay, station is open to public correspondence. For this, we have to use the code CP. If we remember the preface, let's go back again to preface. We go to table 7, which is up there. Okay, here is the nature of service. And then you see here, station open to public correspondence is CP. So we put here, we select here from this list, we select CP. Okay. Then let's go to the exercise here. This is the name of the station. Of course, you can put any other name that you wish. Then we need the location. So we have to type it. Okay. Then we have, of course, in this page we have nothing left. This operating agency is not mandatory. We can put it or not. So that is something that you can, no matter if you put something or not, that is not mandatory. The thing which is mandatory is the address code. And the only code available for Argentina is A. So it's very easy to choose that, and that is already chosen by default. So we have nothing more in this page. Let's go to operations. Operations here in these, I mean, in our terms means antenna also. So whenever we say operations, we're also referring to antennas. So that is why when we click on this operation, we see all the parameters for the antenna, like power, directivity, and all those things. So what we had here was the antenna height, which is 30 meters. So where is that? It's here. 30 or 20? 30. Yeah. That is no, that is another one. That is another thing. No, that is altitude. So let it be there for the moment. Okay, we have address code. Okay, address code. We just address code. We chose A. No problem. We go to the next page. Here we have to put the information for the first antenna. Okay, type of power is Y. Then power delivered to antenna -4. These are just sample values, huh? EIRP is 30 dB watt I. Okay, radiated power is 30 dB watt I. Then we have antenna gain, which is 34 dB I. And then we have elevation angle 0, polarization horizontal, elevation angle 0, polarization is horizontal. Then we have 40 meter antenna height, directivity is directional. Okay, so we have here 40 meter, antenna is directional. So when it is directional, then we have to provide the beam width and the azimuth of the maximum radiation. So beam width is 2 degrees, azimuth is 314. Beam width 314. Okay, the other thing that we missed is the site altitude is here. We put 30 here on the other page. We go back to the operations. Okay, now here, what we need to define is the receiving site for the first antenna. Receiving site, okay, has a name, and then coordinates, and of course it is in that country. I click here on that plus. So like this, you can create the provide the information for the receiving point. Location, which is the station name, so it's Bergamo here. Just like this. Geographical area, of course, it is in Argentina. Then what else we have? This is the location. Okay. Then the coordinates are also okay here. Now we are finished with antenna 1. Is everything okay? Am I going fast? Is it okay? Okay. So now we have created one antenna with everything, all the parameters. We are going to create the second antenna. There are two ways. One is that I press on this button here and we create a new antenna and we start typing from scratch. The other way is that we look at the parameters and we see they are almost the same, almost similar antennas. The only difference is the azimuth. So we have two antennas, the same antennas pointing in two directions. What we can do is to select this antenna, and you see there is a tiny button just above it, there. And we duplicate it. It simply copies that antenna as the second antenna. So now we have two antennas which are completely the same. What we do is that we go to the second antenna and we only change those parameters that are different. The parameters which are different is only this. So the azimuth is 280 for the second antenna. So for operation 2, the azimuth is 280 degrees. The other difference is the receiving site. So here we have to change the name of Bergamo to Cabalito. And then change the coordinates. Okay? It should be complete now. Let's try validating and saving. Validation didn't give any errors. Now we have to save it somewhere. Let's see if we can find our previous thing. So here we have fx, like fx01. This is the first exercise for fixed service. Now we go to the e-validation thing. Okay, we log in again. In case if you have forgotten the password is there, RRS capital 2026 at capital A small m, and we sign in. Okay, we go to e-validation. We create a new one, and we click here, and we upload this fx, and we wait. Okay, if we look at the notice here, the generated notice, it's like this, the text file having a main body. Then we have two antenna sections here. Like here is the first antenna with its receiving site. We have the second antenna with its receiving site. So this is how the notice is structured internally. Okay, so it's finished and the validation is succeeded. So now we can proceed through VSFAT to submit the notice. Okay. Okay, so we create this test fx notice. We attach the notice file, which is fx, which was this. We put number of notices 1, and here we write this is the text test, and then we continue submitting it. We can change the email here to receive the acknowledgement of the confirmation of submission. Then we disable this e-validation thing and we submit. When we submit this, then we receive such an email. This is the email that we received, and our notice is attached to that email which we receive. Okay. Is there any questions so far? Okay, now we can probably go to second example, exercise, let's say. So this is a suppress notice. We want to create a suppression notice for a fixed station. Suppression is very similar to a modification, meaning that we need the identifying elements to target the assignment which is already recorded in the MIF. And that is why here you see the list of parameters already provided, which allows us to find the notice. To create this suppression notice, we are going to use another functionality of Terra notices, which is written here, generate suppression or withdrawal notices. So we go back to Terra notices. Here we go to tools, and the second item, as you may see, is generate suppress notice. We click there. Of course, we are working on FXM services, so we have to change first domain to FXM. Administration, let's check the thing. Administration is Chile. So here we change the administration code to CHL. Then fragment is master register. Then what else we have? So this is the BRID. BRID. Okay, let's see if it can find anything for us. Yes, it found it. So we select that row and load it. So if I go to this notice which is loaded, you see that in this screen, all fields are disabled because we are going to suppress the whole thing. We don't have the possibility to modify anything. And the data is, the reference data is already here. So the target is already filled. And here it is already selected as suppress. The only thing that we can do now is just to save it. We have no other options because the target is already found. We can verify the target information here. You see 3 kilohertz, J3EJN. It is already mentioned here. Even the coordinates, if we look and if we compare with this, we see that the coordinates are also the same. So let's save and validate and save. So we validate, we save, and then we save it as, for example, fx02. Okay, so let me modify it, no, not like that. So we go back to suppress. It says, okay, I redo this. I redo this exercise. So we have to go to suppress, generate suppress. Then this station is fixed service, so we have to select FXM. The country is not Argentina anymore, is another country, so we have to choose CHL, which is the code of that country. Fragment is article 11 because we are touching MIFR. Okay. Here we have to give the BRID, which is this code, which is 0910129004, which is mentioned here, and this is the code. And simply with these items, we can find the assignment which is already in the MIFR. And then we select it, and we press OK. Then, if we go to this one, which is down there, you see the suppression notice is already created. Okay? Let's have a look again on this page, generate suppress. And okay, I select FXM. I again select the country. But this time, I will not put any BRID there. Okay, what happens? If I press OK, it says that, oh, there are 9,000 records that match this condition. Do I want to load all of them? I say, okay, no, I am only looking for fixed stations. Okay, 2,000 less, but it's still 7,000. I say, okay, let's load it. Now it's trying to load the whole list. What I can do is to look at the list and then find the one that I want to suppress. But as we know the the BRID of the station, of the assignment, then it is much faster and much easier to put the BRID in that box and simply load that specific assignment. But this is just to show that in this screen we have the possibility to do also other things, not exactly following this exercise, which is clearly showing, giving all the data elements. Sometimes we don't recall the BRID of that assignment. We only know the frequency range. Sometimes we don't have that much information to directly find that row. So in those cases, we may need to load a lot of assignments and then visually look and select one of them. Like this. So this is now here, we have 7,000 assignments. And then we have to go one by one and have a look and then try to find the one that we need. Okay? Now we have that assignment here, so we can click on this button at the top, which is validate and save. So we validate it and we can save it somewhere. I'm saving it in the same folder as before, but only the name is changed to FX2. And let's have a look at the notice itself. As you see, the notice is very, very small. It only has the identifying elements plus one code, one text, which is the action. And the action here is suppress. So like this, when you submit this one and when the bureau processes this notice, then the target assignment will be suppressed. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay, we have 15 more minutes, huh? Or no? No, 45 minutes. We have 45 minutes, okay. Because it's half an hour change, then I'm a little bit... Okay, jet lag. Please. Do you have...
Gracias. No, quería saber la diferencia entre el procedimiento de suppress y withdraw.
Yes, thank you. It's a very good question and very common question. The word itself, they mean the same thing. They're withdrawing or suppressing, but in our procedure, we have a flow of the data. So the notice is received, it is published in part A, it enters in the examination thing, and it reaches to part 2. As long as the notice is in this process, we cannot suppress it. We have to withdraw it. When it is recorded in the MIF, then we can suppress it. We cannot withdraw it. This is just the difference of two states. Okay, so now we can move to the next exercise, which is another story. We are now moving out from fixed service, and now we are entering land mobile service. Okay, here we have one example, which is a land mobile network having one one base station and two frequencies to communicate with the mobile station. And the previous example, the exercise 1 was a point-to-point because it's fixed. Fixed is always point-to-point. Or from a point to multi-point. So one station can be linked with different receiving stations. So it means that that network is a collection of point-to-point links. But in LAN mobile, it is point to area or area to point. So the base station, the mobile stations are communicating, are transmitting to the base station, which is this case that you are seeing on the screen. So in this exercise, the base station is transmitting on that frequency, which is shown in the top of the screen. This is the transmitting frequency of the base station. And additionally, we have also the mobile stations which communicate with the base station. For this direction, we have to use another type of notice, which is T13. And those handheld stations use a slightly different frequency. So now let's see how we can create this collection of notices. So we have to do it in two steps. Step one is to prepare the notice, which is a T12 for base station. After this, we have the second step, in which we need to create a T13 notice for the mobile stations. And then we can, mix both in a package and link them together. Let's see. Let's start from the first step. We know that it is a base station, so we know that it is T12. Okay? The country is Paraguay in this example, and it is a base station for master register, and we know the frequency. Let's go back to Terra notices. So I will do like this. Let's create a new one. We select the country, which is Paraguay is PRG, the code. Then here at the bottom of the screen, we select T12 for base station. Okay. Now we have to type all the parameters. So bandwidth is 5 megahertz. Again, here we need to put it in a code. It's 5M00. No? Because we have to fill it until it reaches 4 characters. So it is 5 megahertz. Then we have G7W, which is class of emission here. And then it's FB, of course. Class of station here is FB. And then, this is the frequency. We put it here. 1934.4. Yes. Then what else? Let's see here, date of bringing to use. Okay, this is the name, Estaciones. This is the transmitting name which we put here. Date of bringing into use, always we put tomorrow. Okay, do we have any information about nature of service? Okay, nature of service is here. Open to operational traffic, which according to the table that we have, to the reference table, it is OT. So here we select OT. Then we have the location here. Okay, this is the coordinates of that station. Yes, thank you. It should be west, and it is south. Then, okay, address code A. Here it's automatically set to A because that's the only available code for this country. And now, after that, this is this antenna information. So you see that in this page, we don't have any red fields. So now we can go to the operations by clicking on that screen. Now here we have to put information about the antenna. We have a type of power Y, which is the first one here. We have power to antenna. Do we have it? No. We have to effective radiated power is 8E. Is 8E. Then we have a maximum gain, which is then we have antenna directivity omnidirectional ND. Then we have to define the receiving area. You see that there are 3 different ways to define the receiving area. Either we create a multi-point zone. Multi-point, we can have up to 6 points, from 3 to 6 points. And then you can define a polygon which defines the receiving area. The second option is a circle. So you just give a point and a radius. And like this, it covers that circle. And if we go back to our exercise, and if we look at the image, so we are covering a circle with the radius of 3 kilometers. Okay? So, if we go back to here, we choose this circle. The third one, which is zone, you can put an area code. For example, if I can show you, if I click here, then it lists the zones, like Argentina, the whole country, you can put that as a code. So those codes which are already defined in the preface, you can use here. But in our case, it is circle. We put 3 kilometers as the radius. Then we put this coordinate, which is exactly the same coordinate as the base station, as the center of the coverage area. Okay. It seems that we are done with this one. We have everything here. We have all the parameters for antenna. Let's do the validation. So we had no problem, at least at this stage. And we can create it here. It is FB. It's the third exercise. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to add another notice in this package. Because we are now creating a T13 for the mobile stations. I will right click on this FB03 and then insert new notice. Then I select FXM notice, and you see this country and date we cannot change because it is now going to insert something in that package, and it's taking the information from the other notice which is already there. The only thing that I can now select is the notice type. I'm going to select T13. So what happens? Let me now show you here. You see what happens here. Instead of creating a notice here like the other ones, it is adding a notice in the same file. So it helps us at the end, when everything is okay, when we have validated everything, we can send one file which contains two notices through WISFAT. So this is also a way to group several notices in one file if you want to send a network or notify a network, something like this. So now here we are working on the second part, which is this, the LAN mobile station. Now we are working on that. So the frequency is a little bit different. And we have a LAN mobile station. For a LAN mobile station, here we have to go to class of station and select ML. Here we have to put ML. Everything is almost the same. So 5 megahertz, G7W. So here 5 megahertz, again, we put 5M00. Here we have G7W dash. Date of bringing into use again. Assigned frequency is 1935.4. Okay, name of a station is again the same thing. Asunción. Longitude, latitude is 57, 39. W, then latitude is S. Nature of service OT, again. Okay, this page is done. Now we have to go to operation, and then here we have y, and then we have 6, and it is effective. Okay, area where the transmitting station is located. So we just define the area. Again, it is 3 kilometers, and the coordinates okay. Are we done? Any questions so far? So I saved that. So now we have one file. You see that we have here. We will have a look at the file. We have one file containing 2 notices, and from where we can see that at the bottom of the file you see here number of notices 2, and you see that the first notice finishes when we have this tag, that thing here, /notice, and the first one is a T12, and the second one, which starts here quickly after, is a T13. So we have now 2 notices grouped in one file. Let's try the e-validation to see how it works. So we go to e-validation, new validation, then we select this FX2, no, FP3. This is FP3 that we just created. We upload it, and you see that here it detected that this file contains 2 notices. Go to the validation history, and here we will see okay, now it's done, and we see that here validation is succeeded and number of notices which are okay. So now we can go and submit this. has 2 notices. So here we select article 11 again, we go next. We put FB and ML test notices. Then we choose the file, which is this FB3. Here we put number of notices 2. Just one note here, number of notices. If we put here 100, or if we put here 1 or 10, in any case we can submit. The validation will come later. When my colleagues receive this submission, then they compare. They open the file, oh, it contains 2, but you have put 100. Probably something is missing. Probably you forgot to attach some more document. Then at that time, they will contact you, saying that these 2 numbers do not match. At that point, just to clarify, to make sure that nothing is missing. So in this case, we put 2, which is the correct number according to the file that we are sending, and then this is for test. Again, we write it, and we click on next. I again change the thing here, and I click on next. Okay, we don't want to do validation. Submit. Okay. Any question? If you don't ask question, I go to next exercise. And this is what happens. So it's better to ask questions. Huh? Okay, it's good that exercises are appreciated. Okay. Now we have this special notice, which is for a typical station. What is the difference between a typical transmitting station and a transmitting station like this? The exercises that we did, we have been doing since morning, they were all related to specific stations. We know that this station is located here, it has this name, then the location is very precise, it's one station with different antennas and so on and so forth. We may have situations that in a large area, or even in a country, or in a zone, or I don't know, near the border, you have several stations, like thousands of stations, that have the same technical parameters, same frequency, same power, same type of antenna, but they are located in an area, several of them. So no matter how many, but more than one. Instead of notifying each one of them, we can use a typical, this notice, which is T14, we can notify one station and say that we have several stations of this type in this area. This is called a typical station. That you you notify one station in an area. Okay? So in this exercise now here we have typical base station on frequency 942.5 megahertz. And we are going to choose our countries as the location of these stations. This means that the exercise for each one of us can be different from the other person. We are not going to choose the same country, all of us. So you can choose your own country. The technical parameters, of course, are the same. But we are going to use T14 for that specific station in our countries. Okay? So let's see how it goes. For this notice, we are going to use the wizard function again, same as this morning. Let's go back to the notices here. We go to file, we go to this function, which is here, wizard. Okay, administration, so you can choose any administration that you wish. It is, of course, for master register, and if you look at the bottom of the page, you see that the list is very long. Now let's try to make it shorter. We click next. We want to add? Yes, we want to add. It's an assignment, okay. Next. What is the class of a station? It's a base station, no? It says that you have several base stations. Base station is, what is the code? FB. Okay, so we choose FB. Now you see that there are only 3 notice types available. And here is the key question. Is it a transmitting station or it's a typical station? It's a typical station for our case. As soon as we choose that, it chooses T14 as the only option available. So we click on this finish button, click on OK, and of course we have to provide the missing information. Okay, this is just the name here. Now this is a unique identification number. Okay, that's unique identification, it goes here. This thing may or may not create a validation error when we do e-validation, because it sends this thing to the server, and if this administration, I mean the administration that you have chosen, has already used this code, it will give us an error. Let's try. Click, okay, add, then necessary bandwidth is 3 megahertz, 3 M. Class of emission is similar to before. G7W-, okay. Nature of service is CP, public correspondence. We had this example before. Nature of service is CP. And then, okay, assigned frequency, 942.5. 942.5 megahertz. Okay, date of bringing into use, like this. Then what else we have here? Type of geographical area describing the location is zone. So here we have circle or zone. Let's select zone. And when you select zone, you have to provide the code of the country. So in this case, in our case, in my case, it is Argentina. You can choose the area which is similar to the code that you have put for your country. Okay, then we have power type. And then here we have Power to antenna is 16. Radiated power is 32 E. Okay. Maximum gain is 16D. Okay, here address code. I put A. And I think we're okay. Then I now validate and save. So here I have to put FB04 like as an example. This is because this is the fourth exercise that we are doing. And now I go to the e-validation part. Let's go to the top, new e-validation, select the notice, FB4, and upload. Okay, back to e-validation history and see how it goes. Okay, only 3-4 colleagues reach this e-validation. Okay. I don't know if it's mine or anyway. So this is okay. So both FXM4 are okay. No, this is not mine because it's Costa Rica. Then okay, so the first one was mine because it's yeah, Argentina. Now we go to VISFAT to submit this. Thank you. Very good. Then here we say, okay, test typical station, and here we load the file. It's FB4. Yes. Okay. So we have one notice in this file. This is the test, and here is this, and we click next. We disable this and we submit. Okay, so it's done. Okay, if there is no question, probably we can stop here for the break. And it's 3 o'clock, we come back at 3:30 for the last session. Okay, thank you very much.